The Pokemon Go Tour Sinnoh is less than a month away, so to help you prepare and make the most of this year's massive event, here's some essential tips that you need to know. So cue the intro, and let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone. So the Pokemon Go Tour Sinnoh is nearly here. On February 24th and 25th, we'll see tons of Pokemon from both the Sinnoh and Hisui regions appearing in the wild, raids, and in eggs. Now, while this may seem like a decent amount of time from now, it'll actually creep up faster than you think. And you don't want to be unprepared for one of the biggest Pogo events, right? Of course not. And that's why we're here today, to get you ready so you can have the best Go Tour experience possible. So starting things off with our first Go Tour tip, I recommend having a Dragon Mega maxed and ready to go. While there are going to be a ton of useful Mega Pokemon for this event, the ones I say you should be focusing on are Dragon types. Dialga and Palkia will be the most prominent Pokemon for this event, so regardless of which Dragon Mega you choose, you'll get boosted Dragon benefits for both. Now for Megas, you can use Mega Charizard X, Altaria, Sceptile, Salamence, Rayquaza, Ampharos, Latios or Garchomp. However, out of all these Dragon types though, I'd say that Garchomp is the best option here. Not only will it offer bonuses for catching dragons, but its Dragon Ground typing makes it an excellent counter to both Dialga and Palkia. So if you have a solid Garchomp, I'd get to Mega Evolving it as soon as possible. But moving on from Mega Pokemon, let's talk about managing your Pokemon storage. As we said, this is going to be one of the best events of the year, and part of that is because it's condensed into 2 8-hour days. This means that time is of the essence, and you don't want to miss any of the event because you had to constantly check and clear your Pokemon storage. To help you manage your collection though, we recommend combing through your Pokemon storage and asking yourself, do I really need this? If you plan on using a Pokemon for raids, PvP, or it has sentimental value, then keep it. However, if it doesn't meet any of this criteria, is it really worth the hassle of clogging up storage? Probably not. In fact, I recently did this with my personal collection and gained over 150 spots as a result. Now obviously this helps with clearing regular mons, but what about all those extra shinies and legendaries that you've been holding on to? Obviously it'll be more difficult to delete them, but you can use Pokemon Home and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee to keep them in other games. With Home, you can transfer 5 shinies or legendaries a week, and as for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you can transfer up to 50 Kanto or specific Alolan Pokemon to these games. And I'll say this method has definitely been helpful after community days like the recent Porygon Classic in January. Now there's one more thing you can do with bulk legendaries in your storage, and that's to re-roll them with other trainers. I'm sure many of you have done 10 plus raids for a certain legendary, and all those extras with undesirable IVs are just sitting there collecting dust. You could always transfer them to make room, but that'd be a bit of a waste. Instead, you can trade them to not only get a chance of better IVs, but you'll also get a guaranteed XL candy per trade this season. Extra candy, Candy XL, storage space, plus a chance to get a lucky hundo? Sign me up! Now along with having your Pokemon storage cleared, you'll also want to make sure that your item bag is optimized. Obviously there's going to be a ton of items you can carry in here, though some are going to be more important than others. When it comes to incense, I would say to have at least 16 of these ready to go. These run for an hour apiece, so that ensures that you'll have access to special incense spawns throughout the whole event. We also recommend activating them at the beginning of the event so you don't forget about them later. As for berries, you'll probably only need to keep Pineapple, Golden Raz, and Silver Pineapples for this event. Regular Raz and Natums don't really offer as much as the others, so I'd say it's probably best to trash these and keep the former. Next, we have evolution items, and really the only ones you'll need for this event are upgrades and Sinnoh Stones. With these, you shouldn't need to keep more than 3 upgrades and 10 Sinnoh Stones for the whole event. And as for the rest of the evolution items, maybe keep 1 to 2 if you have a decent supply, but anything more than that will just bog you down when you could use that space for Pokeballs. Now for healing items, this is going to be a mixed bag. Obviously you'll want a decent amount of revives and potions for raids, but you don't want too many taking up valuable bag space. What I recommend is only keeping the max and hyper potions, as well as an equal amount of regular and max revives. Also remember that legendary raids will replenish your supply a bit too, so I take that into account if you plan on doing a ton. But up next, let's talk about technical machines. While these are going to be really useful for getting the right moves on a Pokemon, they're also easy to build up. If you have a large supply of each, I'd maybe try to use a bunch to knock that number down. And if you don't have anything left to TM after that, I'd maybe try to save 15 to 20 fast TMs and 40 to 50 charge TMs. But that's up to your discretion, of course. Also, if you have any elite TMs, definitely don't transfer those. Instead, use them for signature moves that you can't get on a regular basis. Now finally, this leaves us with Pokeballs and Raid Passes for your bag, and for these two, I say you really can't have enough of each. You're going to be catching all day during the Sinnoh tour, so you'll want to have as many Pokeballs in your bag as you can. And this goes double for raid passes, because if you run out and need to buy more, you may end up missing a raid and a potential shiny. Now this next tip is one that I think is pretty excellent, and that's to hatch all your eggs before the event starts. Before the Hoenn tour last year, I used my incubator throughout the season until I had all 2km eggs in my bag. Then the day before, I hatched most of them so my space would be open for event eggs as soon as the event began. Now I did the same thing for this year's Go Tour event, so I recommend doing the same if you want the best chance to get those regionals. Next, let's talk about where you're going to be playing and who you're playing with. This is going to be pretty important, as this will shape how your overall Go Tour experience plays out. What I recommend is choosing an area that has a high gym and Pokestop density, as this will ensure you're getting a ton of spawns and raids, and you'll also be able to replenish your items and pick up field research tasks as well. But along with that, it may also be worth looking into areas with a few easily completable routes. During this event, White Stripe Basculin will be appearing when you're participating in routes, so if you want this Pokemon and soon to be Basculegion, you'll want to find a place that has routes available. But along with the decent place, you'll also want to coordinate with other trainers that you plan on meeting for this event. These events are more fun when you're playing with friends, so setting up a time and place to meet will definitely amplify the experience. Now let's say you don't have anyone to meet up with for this event. Well, even if you don't, I would still find other players where you're at so you can party up together. Not only will this help you complete raids faster, but you'll also be able to encounter Regigigas through the party play research during the event. Now this brings us to the final tip on our list today, but before we reveal it, we want to know if you have any tips or tricks for this event. It could really help out new trainers, so if you have anything to share, definitely leave them down below. And if you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to give this one a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss our future guides. Now on to our final tip for the Go Tour Sinnoh. We recommend pacing yourself, taking breaks, and staying hydrated. Remember, this isn't a simple 3-hour raid or community day. This is going to be more of a marathon compared to those. And if you aren't careful, you may end up exhausted or ill and having to miss out on part of the event. So to help you persevere, I recommend packing a water bottle to help you stay hydrated. Also, I recommend packing small snacks as well, as this will definitely help you stay energized. And when it comes to pacing yourself, I know this event is going to be exciting, but 8 hours is a long grind. So to help you not burn yourself out, we recommend scheduling breaks during habitats that have the least exciting stuff for you. For me and Chris personally, we'll probably be breaking during the second bustling boardwalk habitat and potentially the ancient grove if we need more time. You can find a list of the Pokemon spawns on the Go Tour website, which we'll have linked below if you want to check that out. And remember, this is going to be a 2-day event, so it's not like you have to cram all your gameplay aspirations into day 1. Just take it easy and have fun. But that about does it for our tips guide for the Go Tour Sinnoh. Personally, I think this is going to be a really exciting event, but be sure to let us know what you think about the Sinnoh tour in the comments below. Also, stay tuned because we'll have another helpful Go Tour Sinnoh video coming next week. So until then, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.